What's up, guys? Big Papa Drock back with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and this is the mother of all Drock raid videos. Maybe I'm overselling this, but it's a video I've wanted to make for a little bit now, and it's finally time. It is the overview of my main account. So if you guys follow the channel, you may have seen me do a video on my free-to-play account after 1 year, my progress on the free-to-play, which was a lot of fun to kind of update people as to where that stands. But then I thought, you know what? It's been a while since I've shared where my main account is at. Why don't I do a companion video where we look at the main account, aka the spender account, and just evaluate where that account is at. And when I say evaluate, I mean specifically within the context of, am I still a Kraken? Am I still a Kraken? And now listen, I know that sounds insane for me to say to many of you, because it's very clear I've spent a lot of money in Raid, right? We're not going to sit here and pretend that I haven't. We're not going to pretend that I don't have lots of incredible champions and great gear and all this other stuff. But in the last 2 years of playing with Sacred Panda and now IPR, I've kind of had my eyes opened as to how insane some of the accounts out there are. And I really didn't realize, I think, how many people had spent quite a princely sum of money in Raid until those experiences. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't have a really strong account. I do. But am I still a Kraken? Was I ever really a Kraken? Maybe I was just a dolphin with lasers, or a shark with lasers, in the words of Dr. Evil. I don't know. So that's what we're going to try to figure out today. And I genuinely want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Again, respectfully as always, and most of you typically are, but let me know what you think. Kraken, whale, baby dolphin, a seal, some other animal that I'm not thinking of that sounds cool. Yeah, would love to know what you guys think and some of the accounts that you've seen, because certainly my experience, I have just seen some accounts recently, especially where I'm like, God, like that is crazy. Accounts with all +4 mythicals, of all the good mythicals too, which I think is one of the big differences for me. So let's start not with the champions, because that's the part that everybody wants to see. And, I'll get to them in a second, but let's start with dungeons, right? No, actually, let's start with faction guardians. To nobody's surprise, all of my faction guardians are complete. There is not a single one that is not complete. And many of these are +4s. Well, not that one, but many of these are filled with +4s across the thing. So all faction guardians complete. All of my sparring pit is upgraded. This is all minor stuff, no surprise. And then for token trader, for the most part, I've bought most of these, although I haven't gotten Lanicus or Manaya because I didn't feel like it was worth it. Lanicus might be actually now, given how important she is to some of these god tier Hydra teams. So that might be something to do. But I always feel bad about unbinding champions because I never know what champion Plarium is going to introduce that requires one of these champions to empower. And so funny enough, in my roster, a lot of times I don't empower in champions anymore because I never want to end up in a scenario like with Marius, where you have a champion come into the game or that's just broken and you can't improve them because you've already empowered another champion that's nowhere near as good. So that gives you the kind of overview there. Let's take a quick look at my dungeon teams. Funny enough, I could improve a lot in this area. Like none of these are incredible. 30 seconds is not bad, for Iron Twins, although you can certainly do it faster now. For stage 15. All of my potion keeps are done. None of the times are incredible either. 15 seconds. I can't open any of these, but they're all finished, of course, and everything here is finished. I'll take a quick look at what's the time frame. So for Minotaur, we're down to 8 seconds. That's using Siegfried. Now, Ice Golem's peak. This is actually hilarious. I've actually never built a hard stage 10 Ice Golem peak team. I don't know how the hell 21 seconds is showing up here. I'm genuinely surprised by that because I've definitely never built a team specific to Ice Golem. So your guess is as good as mine. I just hate this dungeon so much, I don't even bother, right? Spider's Den is, 12 seconds? This could be faster, but again, 12 is completely fine. Dragon's Lair, best is 22. This could also be faster. I should actually probably show you these teams. It's more exciting there. So this is kind of a standard, Stoutus team here. Spider's Den, I'm still using... this was actually, funny enough, this was Machan's team back in the day for hard Spider 10. So I'm still using this all these years later. And then for Ice Golem, like I said, there is no specific team here. This is actually my normal Ice Golem, because typically I'll just run normal Ice Golem instead of Ice Golem hard, which is shameful, but true. Ice Golem sucks. And the Minotaur just depends on what you're trying to level up. Fire Knight is the dungeon that I really could improve significantly, and I think about doing a stream for that sometime soon, because we're only at 110, which you can get this down to, what, 30 seconds now? Some people are in the 20s, I think, which is ludicrous considering how hard this dungeon is, but this is a team that absolutely can be improved. It's just kind of a basic team from a couple years back. So this is one I would love to improve, because Fire Knight, although it's not really exciting to farm anymore and doesn't give you the same level of benefits as it might once have, is still useful on occasion. Stage 25, a Sand Devil, we're at 8 seconds. This is just a Sifi double Acrisia, Newt, Riho team. And then for Phantom Shogun's Grove, down to 30 seconds. And this is a team that also could be improved if I wanted to. Riho again, 2 Cold Hearts, a Newt, and a Kymar. Cool. So, no surprise, PvE isn't my favorite thing to do in this game. I'm well on the record of that many times. So there's definitely improvement here, and I should do a stream where I actually go through and try to improve this stuff. Take a quick look at Faction Wars. I mean, they're all done. I'm not going to show you the individual stuff. None of these times are insane. 58 seconds is actually pretty bad. Well, I guess that's stage 21. Who cares? And then stage 20, 28 seconds. So none of these times are really that impressive. I don't push any of this stuff. I just try to get it done without me having to do it over again, and that's never a problem. These teams always clear, no matter what. Campaigns completed, of course. Clan bosses. Let's take a quick clan boss. I don't push on clan boss for scores. I am always bottom of the barrel when it comes to doing this stuff. You'll see here, you can't see it, but it's 116 million. I don't do this because I don't want to waste good gear on teams for a mode that, as long as I clear a certain barrier, that's all I need to do. So could I improve my clan boss scores? Sure. But is everything a 1 key no matter what? Yes, it is. So why would I waste the time and or gear? For Chimera, I think my best score on Ultra Nightmare is 260 million, I think, for raw damage. That was using a ninja. I could do more with Toshiro, but I really want to try to get as many of these trials done as possible. Actually, maybe that was Nightmare. Nightmare was 260 million. And then Ultra Nightmare was a little over, I think, 200 million. So definitely could improve there for sure. But just wanted to give you an idea. I run a ninja team with Galathier, Lydia, and I wish I had a Fina, but don't. But also Necmo, and who else am I forgetting? Lady Mikage, that's the one. So this is basically the team I run, just with ninja. If I use Toshiro, damage would go up a lot. Hydra. My best score, actually, funny enough, is on hard in terms of overall Hydra Clash. And that was, I did one last week, finally. I built a Trunda team with the manual stuff, and it was only 7 billion. So my Hydra still needs to improve quite a bit to get to Nightmare, where I'm really doing crazy damage on that. But just have not gotten the Merciless gear I need to do it. I really also hate this content, so I needed to be less lazy to improve it. But this has improved a lot recently. And now I'm putting up significantly better scores in Hydra Clash, and that matters a lot because Immortal Elite, aka MAD, has really improved their scores since they combine clans as well. Imperium used to win this pretty much no matter what. Now it's a much harder battle. Kudos to MAD for upping their game, so now we got to up our game as well. Okay, that's the general gist of dungeons. Doom Tower, of course, everything's complete. Surprise, surprise. Cursed City. Cursed City is interesting. I can complete all of Cursed City if I wanted to, I guess, but I really haven't sat down to create the right kind of gear to make stages like stage 19, or in some cases stage 13, easier to do and more consistent. This truly is one of my least favorite game modes in the entire game because of how ridiculous the champion assignments are in terms of they're constantly running you into god tier champions with champions that don't match up affinity wise, or frankly making you limit your roster to the shittiest champions that you have in order to complete certain stages. So this is one where I've just been lazy, but it's truly because I really don't enjoy this content. Surprise, surprise. So is it clearable? Yes. Have I cleared all these stages before on certain rotations? Yes. Have I cleared all the stages on every rotation? No, because I am lazy when it comes to this, and I really should improve that because, hey, nothing like a 2.5% chance at a mythical out of a remnant, from doing Cursed City stuff. But it is worth saying, and I can do, of course, Amius without problem on both normal and on hard mode as well. And then Siege is, dependent on everything. But my Siege report overall is pretty good. Let's take a look here. I think ranking-wise, Florin's donated. I'm currently 3rd overall, though this is highly dependent on what you're doing in each siege. Mana orbs, I'm 5th in my clan. You can see there. Defense victories, usually pretty far down. Am I 16th? Only 20, so got to up the game here. Big kudos to Fade. Wow, 144, absolute monster. And then attack victories, I am 10th right now. Part of this is because I'm limited to 2 attacks per round, and some of the other people have 3 scrolls. I typically win every attack that I do. It's been a while since I've lost one, but certainly not bad. I wish they would show you attack overall rate, but they don't. Okay, that's that. Let's take a look at champions. Let's take a look at champions, because that's really going to determine how Kraken are we. And hopefully you're still here at this point. But so this is the champion list, guys, right? And I know, when you see this, you're like, Drock, you're obviously still a Kraken. Wait, why are you sandbagging, bro? Why are you sandbagging? But the only reason I even ask is because I have seen accounts at this point where every champion is +4, where almost every mythical is +4, if not every mythical is +4. And that's what made me start to think like, yeah, maybe I never really was the Kraken I thought I was. Though I am certainly one of the bigger spenders that I am aware of, there are people that have outspent me 3, 4, 5 times over on one account, if not on multiple accounts. And so I started to think about that. You know what I mean? Like, how Kraken am I really? You can see I definitely have quite a few +4 mythicals here, though you could argue only 2 of them are actually good mythicals. And I've been unfortunate with some of the other ones that really don't feature into Arena as much, though Lazarius now is close. But really, when you look at it, like the meta mythicals, I don't have really +4 versions of the best ones. Galathier, I don't have a nice, right? Don't have a nice at all. I certainly don't have every mythical. Don't have a plus anything Commodus. And while I have quite a few of these, I wonder if that's enough of a distinction between the people that are Krakens or not. You know, does that make me a whale? I don't know. We'll see what you guys think. Now, when it comes to legendaries, I have quite a few +4 legendaries, and many of them are fully awakened, as you can see as well, but also not as many as others I've seen on other people's accounts too. So this is the other part of the conversation where I'm thinking, like, again, how Kraken am I? I don't have a +4 Odin. I don't have a +4 Narcissus. I don't have a +4 Sulfurion or a +4 Taurus. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but many, many people, not many, but quite a few do, or even a +4 Shuzen. Or even a +4 Marichka, though I certainly could if I fed my other copy, I could get her to +4. So she's one of the few exceptions in there. So yeah, I'm really curious as to your thoughts. I know this looks insane, and I certainly have quite an incredible roster. You know, without no doubt, I have wailed pretty hard over the years. But how hard is it relative to other people? I don't know. You guys let me know. Who have you seen account-wise that you see that you think would outdo me? I can think of some off the top of my head. Panda, for one, who I think has one of the absolute strongest accounts in the game. Timo would be another great example. The leader of my clan IPR would be somebody who also has, basically almost every champion, and many of them plus something. So there's the full champion roster. Let's take a look at the index too. I think this is also helpful to see. At one point, when I really felt I was a Kraken, I had basically almost every champion, with only a couple of exceptions. We're talking like down to less than 10 at one point. That's no longer the case, given how many champions they've introduced in the game, and that I haven't spent in the last year or so anywhere close to what I used to spend on Raid, which sounds crazy, but is actually true. I don't have Aislinn, for example, so a lot of the faction Unity champions I'm missing. Fina is a big one. Incarnate, I didn't bother to go for because she was so bad. Although, funny enough, I've seen her in some teams now, too. Prisma I haven't gotten either. I think I have most of the epics, if not all the epics. Some factions, I was going to say, are completed, but here you go. I don't have a Vitreous. Maybe that's for the best. He kind of sucks. But at one point, I had every Sacred Order champion. Same for High Elves. Let's take a look at Barbarians here. Chronom I still haven't done. We're still waiting on a couple people to do some referrals for me. Big thank you to them. Gregor, Zaharis is a new champion. He just came out. I guess the thing here is it's really tough to stay on top of every champion because they introduce so many. Like, you can see my Ogren tribes. Woof, this is rough. We're missing the faction Unity. I didn't do the fusion for Jeroboam. We're missing multiple voids, multiple force affinity ones over here. So quite a few missing in this order, let alone the ones that aren't +4 or are +4. Let's take a look at Lizardman. Don't have a Krokmar, don't have a Fady, but for the most part, I've got the others. Interesting how few champions there are in Lizardman relative to other factions as well. Hey, Plarium, we might want to put more champions in this faction as opposed to some of the others. And then for Skinwalkers, I don't have Balint. I don't have Loyaka. Didn't do that fusion when she sucked. I do have Amarius, +4, of course, as you saw, so that's nice. Give you an idea there. And also, let me know if you guys enjoy this. Is it kind of fun to see the full view of my account, like what I have versus don't have? Khan, I know they're doing on a guaranteed, although he's quite bad, so I don't know if I'm going to go for that. Don't think I will. I don't have the Packmaster. I'm so glad I skipped this fusion. I knew he would be dog shit and that they wouldn't improve him over time, sure enough. But don't have Aragaz, don't have Zarguna. Got all the epics again. Demon Spawn. Okay, I actually do have every Demon Spawn champion because I did get Chalco recently, which I did a video on him as well. So I do have every Demon Spawn champion. I think it's the first faction where I've had them all now. Undead Hordes. Theodosia just introduced, so I don't have her. But prior to that, oh, no, never mind. Heraclides, and then Fabian I'll get with this fusion, of course, but don't have Heraclides either. So you're seeing, like, you can notice a pattern here. There's quite a few faction Unity champions that I'm missing because, frankly, they're so hard to get, or at least most of the time they are. If you're not doing like summon prism pools or whatever. Ziklik, another faction Unity champion I don't have. Very few reviews on this, so very few people have him, which is interesting to see. Have every other champion in Dark Elves, though. Knights Rev. Empress, we will get. Gyath, I haven't gotten. Kaleth, I haven't gotten. And then, sadly, Queen of Hearts, I haven't gotten. I kind of wish I had pulled for her over Chalco, frankly, because of how much better she is for Arena in terms of countering speed. Although I think Chalco can still be useful if I actually start using him. So that's something I'll have to do in the future. But got everything else. Dwarves. Okay, the new mythical, he's bad. I don't have him. I'm kind of happy about that. Maybe they buff him. I don't have a Senna. And I don't have an Arnorn. So 2 of the Void ones, don't have those. I did get a Black Tusk, which I'll be doing a video on him soon. So I have to showcase him. Haven't had a chance to build him yet, but I did get a Black Tusk, and I have quite a few newts. Shadowkin. Tetsuya, I haven't even looked at this champion. Nobody has this guy yet. At least it doesn't look like it, including me. Arashi I don't have, but we've got the rest. So Shadowkin's looking pretty strong. And then finally, Sylvan Watchers. This is the one that really hurts for PvP. Crazy that at one point he wasn't a 5 on Arena offense and Arena defense. I don't know how people didn't realize how incredibly strong he was. I guess it was because people just hadn't had an opportunity. But yeah, I mean, easily one of the best mythicals for Arena, if not the best mythical for Arena. The only other one that I think that really would compare is probably Galathir. I think Nice is overall better than pretty much everybody else. Galathir, you can make an argument, is better with his utility, but Nice is just an absolute monster. I do not have him, sadly, and it hurts. It hurts every day. Don't have Glakehead. Don't have Lady of Areth either as well. So that's the whole list there. Let's take a look at the champion vaults. So I think this is really indicative of how strong an account is too. So you'll notice, first and foremost, I do have quite a few +4 epics, and many of them are fully awakened as well. So quite a few of these bad boys, multiple copies of some that are really good as well. The funny thing is, before they introduced epic empowerment, I ended up just feeding a ton of epics. So I could have had empowered epics many, many, many times over had they introduced empowerment at the same time as they did legendaries when they did it for epics. But because they did it several years later and you need space, many, many, many of them got fed. So not every epic is a +4 yet, but many, many, many are, as you can see. And some are not. You know, some of the harder ones to get or trickier ones aren't. And then we've got the rares here. Even 2 Armigers. Champion I haven't used for a very long time. How's this compare to your account, guys? Does this look pretty similar? Are we on the same level? Is your account better? You know, let me know. So you can see there, quite a few of these could still be leveled up. Probably have to do that in one of these champion training events. Yeah, and then I've got my fusion epics for the current fusion, or excuse me, fusion rares and one fusion epic for the current fusion right here. When we look at the reserve vault, this is where I keep all my bonus copies of legendaries or mythicals. So you can see quite a few of these that I could empower, but again, I just don't, because I never know what Plarium is going to do. And it's one of those situations where you never want to have a champion that's meta, especially for arena, and you could hypothetically empower them, but because you already combined your copies, it's no longer possible. That's something they should really change. You should be able to, when they introduce new champions in the game that use one of these champions for copies, it shouldn't even be a question. You should be able to split your thing up, and it should be an in-game function. Oh, also my faction guardians in here too as well. So all my faction guardians I store in my reserve vault, on top of just my general legendaries. A lot of legendaries here, right? A lot of bad legendaries. That's the other thing too. Some of these are good legendaries. Quite a few of these are just bad legendaries. And it is interesting when you have so many champions, how many just don't get use, right? You really end up relying on the best of the best, surprise, surprise, the vast majority of the time, as opposed to going into your roster and, you know, going back to some of the champions that maybe were good at one point that you just don't see a lot anymore. A great example of this would be Ragash for PvP. You know, Ragash at one point was really, really, really good for PvP. Now, you never see the dude. Even Georgian would be an example of someone I almost never see anymore in PvP, who for a solid year was, you know, the meta. Just better champions came around and the meta changed, and his inability to survive made it a lot harder to get him into teams. So there you go, guys. Those are all the faction guardians, so all the rares. All the fusions, of course, are done. So every fusion except for the one right now is done. Fragment summons, I've gotten a mod. I do have a mod. Empress is up next. Chronom is the one that eludes me. A big thank you to the two people that have been doing those referrals. Odeon, who is the peasant, and I don't even know who the shepherd is. Although they haven't logged in for a week, so I don't know. I might not be getting these fusions done, or these referrals done the way I thought. But even the fact that they got this close is pretty good, because I know how hard this is. Technically, I guess they don't even really need to go any further because I already got the Chronom points. But anyway, I think that's the gist of it. I don't think there's anything else here. Missions, of course, all done. Challenges, we can take a look at those. Actually, yeah, that's worth doing. So I have a lot of the badges. Still haven't played enough Live Arena to get to these, so this will be the next thing that I think comes. Funny enough, simply the best, right? Earned by finishing first in Classic Arena's Platinum tier at least 5 times or back-to-back champion. I've never, ever finished first in Classic Arena. Now, I've only pushed Platinum Arena maybe probably less than 10 times in the entirety of my account's existence, less than 15. I just don't bother, because for the longest time it was pointless because of how basically dominant Mad Clan was, where if you were in Panda or something else, good luck trying to win. That's changed. It's not the same way now. And the other reason was, on the East Coast, it's just a brutal thing to push, because it's at either 3 or 4 a.m. depending on the time change. And I'm frankly just not going to stay up. I don't care enough to try to get a trophy. Could I get a trophy? I don't know. Maybe. It's possible. I pushed the other day just for fun. I was up at that time, you know, one of the rare times I was awake, and I just pushed without really having any kind of defined team, and I think I finished like 22nd, which wasn't great, but wasn't bad. So this would be the other thing that maybe I could look at, although this is certainly hard to do. One of the hardest things in the game, in my opinion. These are all things that I think I could do if I rework my dungeon teams. I don't think I could do this. I know I could do this. I just have to rework them in order to get these badges. Surprisingly, I wish they would tell you what keeps you haven't done in under 20 turns. I really don't know. I don't run keeps anymore, so this is a badge I certainly could get. Just haven't done it. Siege General, this is something that happens over time. Finishing first in the Live Arena Seasons leaderboard. Well, this definitely isn't going to happen unless they change the way Live Arena Seasons works, because I'm never going to have anyone else play my account but me. That's maybe one of the big differences between me and some of the other people in this game. Nobody else plays my account, just me. That's it. The only time anyone else is ever on my account is if I invite them to do a collab, which you see on YouTube. But otherwise, it is me and me alone, and that's never going to change. I am never going to have a driver or someone play my account. All the results are mine, and I'm really proud of that, and I think it's an important distinction between me and some of the other top players that are out there. So top 10, this is certainly possible. If I really buckle down and play a ton, this is possible as well. For the 5 times, wow, geez Louise. Some of these are really tough. Top dog, this is a really hard one to do, I think, unless you whale out like an arena, like classic arena tournaments, or, you know, it's certainly doable, but do I really have the desire? I don't know. CVC Master, this is doable. I just haven't decided to do it. And then most of these over here, these are just like, do you want to complete the Deck of Fate or whatever else? Like, just how much do you want to rail? And then I don't have this because I don't have Queen of Hearts. But it gives you a full idea of the badges I do have versus the ones that I'm missing and my likelihood to get them. And I think that's it, guys. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I haven't covered. Of course, my grade haul is done. I made a whole video about this last year because I slacked on this for such a long time and finally got it done. Anything else? Souls? No. Awaken? No. Certainly not everyone's Awaken. That's I don't know anyone that has that where every champion they have is 6 stars, but maybe there's somebody out there. Yeah, I think that's the gist of it, guys. So let me know what you think. Kraken? Not Kraken? Baby Kraken? Large whale? You know, double whale? I don't know. Come up with something fun to let me know what you think about my account. That's the full overview as to what I'm packing here. I think the biggest thing that I'm missing from the perspective of like things I'd love to have would be just a nice. You know, certainly it'd be nice to have +4 Tauruses and Odins and all that kind of fun stuff. But at the moment, nice is, you know, big time in the meta, and it would really be an account changing thing for me to have just one copy of him, let alone a +4 Galathea or a +4 Nice or anything like that, which I have seen multiple people that have both of those, both a +4 Galathea and a +4 Nice. So I guess it's really all relative, right? Like, what do you consider to be the Kraken versus what someone else does? So I don't know. I still am not sure. Maybe I think I would say maybe I'm a baby Kraken now. You know, that's where I'm at the moment. But you let me know what you think. Let me know if you enjoyed this video, my overview of my main account. We just hit 20,000 subscribers, by the way, guys. So a huge thank you. Who would have ever thought that me playing Raid would result in that? So really appreciate that. We'll have to do a video thanking you guys specifically about it, but just wanted to mention here at the end. And yeah, would love to hear what you guys think. And if you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe, all that fun stuff. And I'll come up with some other fun things to do soon. Either I'll see you for a live arena stream or another piece of content. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for the support. Love you all. Have a wonderful day. I'm Big Papa Drock, and I am out.